free ad tools that come with Twitter. It's mainly for using promoted tweets to reach beyond your audience because the tweets that you generate go out to the people following you. Yes, there are some times when people will go ahead and search for keywords or for hashtags, but that's not the normal behavior. So if you're trying to get a tweet out into basically a group of people who are not already following you, this is one of the ways Twitter recommends you doing it. So go to the twitter.com/advertising. For me, it's going to skip the initial screen where it's going to have you log in using your Twitter account. I've been on this machine for a few minutes, so it's kind of gone beyond that. To go check this out, go up here to click on the Create New Campaigns button. You have several different things that you can do. One, you can either promote individual tweets or you can just promote your account. Let's start off with the promoting your tweets. I'm going to go here to this. Then it's going to give me three major ways to track things. I can go ahead and give this, in case I want to save this, some kind of a campaign name. It's going to let me do this based on keywords, TV programs that people are following. Again, that second screen thing's becoming very popular, or by interests and followers. We'll zip through the first two before we get to this one. First of all, it allows you to customize a start date. So I'm going to go ahead and let it start right now, and I'm going to pick a date so that these run for basically 48 hours. Then I'm going to go ahead and click keywords, and here are some of the options you get. You can either type in a specific word like pizza, and it's going to give you an idea of how many people generally use that word. Clearly this is a fairly small type of a word it's searching for. You could type in food, you could type in sports, you could type in parenting, you could type in just about any other category that you wanted to. So let's just keep moving on down. Choose all the locations. For all these, I'm just going to say United States because that's what Domino's is having you look at. You can go ahead and drill down on some of these things to find out even more information. It's not going to give us a really good targeting thing on the keyword because that depends completely on how many people are talking about a topic in a particular day. So I'm not going to do any more specific drilling down here on that. Then you can come back in and either select an existing tweet, or you can go ahead and create some brand new one. So if this was your brand, you could be picking from some of the most recent ones that they've done, or you can go ahead and have it automatically promote up to 5 of your most recent engaging tweets. I'm just going to go ahead and pick right here, story from Adweek, or Ad Age, I guess today. Come back in and you go ahead and decide how much you're willing to spend on this. I'm going to just say that I'm going to spend up to $100 a day maximum. And because it's basically 2 days, a $200 cap. Pacing options allows you to come back in and decide whether you want it to try to spread them out over the course of a day, or if you want to go ahead and try to engage with as many people based on your start time as possible. So you could set this up to pretty much only want to engage with people at close to dinner time, like from 5 to 8 o'clock. Down in here, this is a kind of a crucial area. Enter the maximum amount you're willing to spend per engagement. According to Twitter's promoted tweets, that's an engagement is when a user retweets you, they reply to you, they favorite it, they follow you, they click anywhere on the promoted tweet. So they're suggesting that a bid of $1.50 to $2.20 is going to reach the largest number of people. But you could bid as low as, pay as low as a penny for each one of those type of things. It's all dependent, just kind of like any kind of an auction service, on what the traffic is. So you could go ahead and manipulate this to tell it a lower than their suggested amount. And again, because we're basing it on keywords, it's not telling us a whole lot, but it's telling us that we're going to spend up to $1.85 per basically transaction. And if you think about it and go back and do some stats on Twitter, you'll find a lot of things. Like 20% of people rarely engage all that often on Twitter. You find some other things where people will come in and also talk about that 50% of your Twitter followers never do any kind of interacting. All they do is they just watch. So if we're talking about $1.85, or let's just round it to $2 a day for up to $100, that means you'd reach 50 people. But if you do the math and think about it, what if that is only 10% of your people who this is going to go to are going to interact with that? We're talking about a huge increase of extra people who are going to be seeing the promoted tweet, without necessarily doing an engagement on it. And again, is that 10%? Is that only 1% that are engaged? So for every one of these $2 bids, another 99 people see it. So this going into this means that you basically get 50 people a day. But are we talking about that this is 50,000 or potentially even larger who would potentially be exposed to this? Okay, again, that one was based on keywords. If I switch over this to television, I'm going to go ahead and leave that I'm going to keep this just in the United States. But I can go ahead and search for individual TV shows. People who seem to talk a lot about that. So I'm going to pick Modern Family. Or I can pick more shows than that if I want to. So Modern Family, we've got somewhere between this hunt, based on the size of this dot, somewhere probably slightly larger than this, but smaller than this in terms of how often people are engaging with that TV show. Keeping this set at the United States, same type of thing. Pick any tweet, and come back in and you set your maximum, your minimum, daily maximum, your campaign maximum, how much you want to reach with this. Again, though, since they can't estimate exactly how many people during your time frame are talking about that TV show, it's not giving you a whole lot of information in terms of the number of people that you could end up reaching. Go back up here. We'll pick one of these other ones now. Let's see. I'm just going to go to interests and followers. This would allow me to pick by interest group. I could target specific usernames. So if you were finding a list of people who recently joined the account, you're talking about specific, quote, influencers who follow you, who have over 500 followers or over 1,000, you could enter those names, or you could export them from some other program and allow you to basically cut and paste. I want to target these people specifically because they've already interacted with the brand, and therefore I'm assuming that they might be more likely to do this again when prompted by my ad. Search for interest groups. I'm going to just go ahead and type in food as an example. I'm going to type in all of food and drink. And that's going to go ahead and tell me that based on my 2 days, which I still have entered up at the top, and based on my campaign budget, that I'm going to go ahead and be able to reach a certain number of people. These are all the different categories that they could be talking about, though. I'm going to go ahead and remove some of these. Chinese, Japanese, Mexican, vegan, vegetarian, Italian, French, coffee and tea, liquor and spirits, fine dining. And when I finally end up getting each time I'm deleting one of these things, it's re-estimating what my audience size on this will end up being. Or I could have gone in here and picked another interest group. I could have said sports news. Again, that's going to recalculate what my total audience would be, or I could pick a specific sports by going through that same thing. I could have just picked football or just picked baseball. Now, because this one's a little bit more specific, they're able to give me the audience size, or they couldn't do that on the keywords and the other searches like that. And I'm going to come on down here. And it's going to tell me that I could potentially, with that same maximum bid, reach up to 146,000 people during my target window. I'm going to say lower this and say, what if I was only bidding $1? Well, it now knows that I'm going to lose a lot of those bets based on other people who might be searching for the same word, so I'm only going to reach 54,000 people. I may go ahead and up my campaign budget. That's still going to tell me, based on the fact that I'm only bidding $1, that I'm going to reach 54,000 people. But this is just giving you a rough idea. I could come in here and bid even lower than that to see where this ends up going to. But that's all based off of me searching for people who are talking about certain interests, again, such as food with these categories or sports news. And the last potential thing that I could do, I'm going to go back one. Go to the promote your account. So new promoted account campaign. Same type of thing. I'm going to tell it I'm just going to run it for basically 48 hours. I could again target specific people that I want to follow me. I could go ahead and again search in interest groups. So I'll pick sports news. Not saying I could be reaching up to 5 million people worldwide, but if I change this to be just the United States, that audience number is going to change to 1.5 million that I could potentially reach. And then I come back in, set a total budget. Again, let's just say for that 2-day period, I'm willing to do up to $200 with the daily cap of 100. That's going to tell me how many potential people I'm going to reach. But since this is a little bit more involved, it's not just about a tweet, it's trying to get to see how many people are going to go ahead and follow you. It does show that we're only going to pay when a user follows your account. You'll never be charged more than your maximum bid, and you usually pay less. I could be reaching up to that many people at $3 a pop to get new followers. I could change this to say 10 cents. And it's going to tell me I'm probably only going to reach 1,000 people because other people are going to be outbidding me in that sports category. And I'm going to reach just a very small number of people with that bid. I'll pay up to $1 to get new followers. I could potentially be reaching 374,000 people. But again, I'm only paying when somebody actually follows me. So if you think about it, the total number of people who could be seeing the message could be massive in comparison to that. With a total audience of 1.5 million, and they're suggesting that I might be able to reach that many people over my 2-day window. So that's just a couple things that you can use Twitter to do. A, to estimate audience size. B, where you can reach out beyond your normal followers to reach either new people to either get them to follow your account, or that first set of ones to be able to come back in and do some kind of interaction or engagement with individual tweets.